Hi, my name is Carrie Waltz. I share tips, tools, and techniques for the artist in you. And I hope what I'm going to share today will give you some ideas on how to paint a street scene. This is one of the views from my Italy trip, and I had entered it, I'd drawn it in my journal. I just hadn't painted it yet. And today I want to show you how I paint and try to talk out loud so you can hear my thoughts and where I've messed up. And I'll go, oh, that didn't work. Let me back up. I'm working with a water brush, and for the first time in many years, this particular water brush was not cooperating, and I just kept working with it instead of stopping to get a new one. So um, I don't know that I would do that again, but sorry for the lack of clear thinking in that. But follow along and I'll show you how I look at perspective, how I create texture, how I try to capture the mood of the day, and give it a try. Thanks for joining me. Have a wonderful day. Well, when I painted this, it was about 2.5 weeks ago. I had a commission that I finished, my daughter's wedding, and some other things that just took up more of my time than I anticipated. So now I'm back. I'm going to try to talk through it and tell you what I'm doing. This was a watercolor wash, and now I'm going to come back over with some other pale colors and build this street scene. One of the things that I initially thought is this was going to be brighter than what it is. So I probably will come back with some gouache and lighten that, but I'll see how the sky looks before I do. So I have this collection of Daniel Smith and mostly Daniel Smith and Michael Harding watercolor that I made my kit for Italy. And I made it specifically because of the colors that I expected to see there. The ochres, the oranges, the buff titanium colors in a lot of the architecture. So, all right, I'm going to go with start with a little ochre. I'm using a water brush, and let's just go for it. So I've got a little glare on this from my vantage point. It's covered in plastic, so it's catching a little of the light, and hopefully it's not too bad for y'all. All right, so I have this drawn off. I'm looking at the drawing and trying to stay in the direction of the strokes. I want the strokes to be in the direction of the bricks. So I'm kind of tilting my head and seeing what I could do with that. This will definitely be, I'll definitely be coming back in shortly to do a little bit more, but just want to get another layer of color. And a lot of this will be just a suggestion of brick and stonework, but some of this I want the whole thing a little darker. So that's why I'm doing it fairly solid right now. I want to go around those windows because they were a little lighter. And the shadow on the ground is grayer, so I want to make sure that that's different. There's some Payne's gray and a little bit burnt orange that I mixed in, so I want to plot that in. And then while this is wet, I'm just going to dabble that up a little bit so that you can start to see the texture. Darkness inside a window. And up here, these shutters. There's a very tiny window up here and some skinny little lines. I have the roof in the back. It's more vertical lines and some more vertical lines here. And then I actually run into another building that I don't see the lines for. I'll just paint that in. I don't see it. Comes in here and then down. There's a sharp angle of something. The nice thing about skinny little street scenes is you can just put a line. A line will indicate a window, a door, all sorts of things, and you don't have to do a lot of detail. I'm putting this lavender, mixing it in with the yellow that I had, and I'm going to make a darker archway back here because all of that is darker than what's in the foreground. And there's a few windows maybe to the side. I want that a little darker, a little bluer, maybe a little more lavender in there. Okay. There's one long line, not sure what it's for, what it is, and another archway shadow. I'm going to make that darker. I just added more purple. And any grayed down color would probably do, because the brown that I was using, this kind of ochre color, leans toward orange, and when I mix brown with orange, or the blue with the orange, it kind of neutralizes it, because orange is purple. Sorry, I'm talking too much. Purple is close to the opposite of orange, which is blue. Okay, quit talking and just paint. I'm just looking down there, seeing little blobs and things. They're different colors. There's something down there that's orange and in the sunlight, so I'm going to go ahead and put that. There's some red flowers below a window, so I'm going to just dab a little bit of that to indicate that. There's some green in the hallway or the walkway as well. And there's people. This person is sort of in the shade underneath this awning. And you don't see much detail because they're so small. Now, way back there is more buildings. It is not the sky. So very lightly, I'm going to indicate some straight lines that would read somewhat like other doorways, something in the back that you don't want it just plain back there, but you don't want to cause a lot of detail that you'd have to be specific with. I wanted it kind of muted and kind of light. Then we're going to put this other person next to them. My brush is a little dry. See how it's splitting? That's rare. I don't have that problem. Oops, sorry, I hit the camera. Make that a little darker. They seem to be leaning a little bit. And in order for that to read right, you want to put shadows under them. Oops, sorry. I was looking at the picture, looking at over here and not here. I'll reinforce that. Now, what is wrong with that brush? Okay, I had to squeeze it, get some water flowing, get that point reactivated. And we'll paint this doorway again. And this one. Okay, I want to look at this arch. This arch gets darker. Up here, this part's much darker. And it stops about right here. And then it lightens up. So I'm squeezing my brush as I'm painting to let the water come out, so that'll give it a softer edge. And while I'm doing that, I want to indicate the directional strokes of the bricks. And then it's really hard to tell exactly what they do, but they're coming out at this angle. So what I want to do is when eye level would be about right here. That's when the bricks are straight. So these bricks will be kind of straight. And then as I go up the direction and start angling, the angles get greater and they angle up. Below eye level, as I come along here, that's a little dark. And this side actually is even darker because it's in the shadows of this up above. So let me go ahead and indicate that. Drag that in. All right, so these are still straight because you're looking straight at them, but the ones that are on the side wall, these angle down. Well, that should be straight right here. And these start to angle down. Then you get straight again because you're looking right at it. We're going to make it dark right in here where there's an opening and a shadow. Add a little purple in there. It's a little darker on this wall. So you want a variety of colors, grays. You can put some blues, some other different browns if you want. Now the very top of that is very dark because it's inset. And I don't know if you can see that very well on the drawing. I think I've got it. I think that's right in here. Well, that's a little high, probably, but oh well. It'll be okay. Make this darker. Again, watercolor dries lighter. Okay, and then this is where we run into some light here. There's an opening in the sky up here, so the light's casting more of a light shadow over here, and we'll come back to that in a minute. So I'm going to pick up some more of the brown with a touch of gray, and I'm going to come back up here and look at the directional strokes of the bricks. And if you had a flat brush, you could probably lay that all in at once. And I don't want it too solid because there's breaks in the mortar, and but just jumping your brush around and let it kind of bounce on the paper will help give that feel. I want to come back with a little more grayish blue through here. I'm going to add that kind of blue too. There's somewhat of a reflection picking up off the ground. I'm not exactly sure, but really maybe reflected light from the wall across the way. But this side is pretty dark right in here. And I wanted more of a contrast than what I had. All right, also now that I have that kind of grayish blue, I want to put the grayish blue in the ground. So put it right around here. And it takes a turn. And it wasn't exactly solid, so I don't want to really paint it solid, but I kind of want to do strokes indicating stonework as it gets bigger and closer, and hopefully that'll give you the feeling of it coming close, towards you. And this continues gray.
you barely see it in the light. That's too dark. So much darker. Ooh, I don't like that. I got way crooked. Let me get rid of that. And I'll probably be painting over that anyway. It's too yellow for what I want. All right, let's try that again. Much lighter. If I lay my brush really flat, almost horizontal to the ground, to the paper, it gives kind of a dry brush look, and I like that. Now on top of this, there's some kind of grayish highlights of the sky. So I'm going to do that in this lavender. This is a Michael Harding lavender. I wonder what that would do here. No, that's too dark. All right. I'm going to detour and get some white gouache. I'm going to make this lighter. Attempt to. Wasn't very clean gouache, so let's try that again. Just lighten up that building a little bit. And this might make more sense when the ground is darker. But I'm going to come up here and lighten up this yellowish sky, because that is way too yellow. I'm putting a little bit more blue than what I see in the sky, but I think I needed that to make it read better. All right, I need to darken up my road, so I'm going to mix some purple, some gray. We'll see what happens. I think I'm going to go over everything I just painted. Hope that it feels dry, but it needs to be much darker. I have to check my brush. It's doing really weird things. Okay, I'm all right with that. This needs to be a sharper edge because it's the shape of a building. That's reading better. I want to put some dabs of things. I'm not sure what they have in their hands. Make that a little darker. What's fun about these things that are way off in the distance, you can just put little dots and your brain makes up the difference. Okay, go back to my ochre, a little bit of brown, a little bit of purple to neutralize that just a little bit. And I'm looking at some of this underneath part of this building. I need to make it actually darker than I did a minute ago. And it'd be better if I mixed puddles and then came back into those puddles, and they'd be more uniform, but this is good enough for what I'm doing. It's really hard to see. But the shadowy part up here starts in. I want it browner than that. And I'm just going to kind of bounce along. Think about where my eye level, where it gets straight, it's going to get straight. Got straight right around in here. So that's where this line and this line are straight, and then it turns. This is straight, you're looking at it, and then it's going to turn and go up. Oops, said that totally wrong. It's going to go down. Look at your picture, Carrie. Yeah, sorry, I'm tired. And then it goes up here. Goes up here, down up above. It's too purple. See, the joy of layering is, you know, you can come back and fix it, hopefully. I don't know if I'll post this or not. Sometimes I don't like to always post things when they don't go right, but then people say, oh, it's really nice to see that you screwed up. And I definitely do that. It's a little awkward. I'm dodging my phone that is recording. And I want a little more definition on this window. That's the underneath part. The edge of this wall is a little darker as it turns the corner, so I'll just add a little darkness to the corner of the wall. Because my color and my brush is different than what's on the wall, I can still just add a few more bricks here and there. This wall, it's really the bricks are lighter, so if you want to draw in the mortar, just do that. Instead, I'm barely touching my brush. So you see how that teeny little brush, okay, that side needs to be darker. That's in the shadow, so make that darker. This needs to be darker. It pushes it back further. So I'm just going back and forth, trying to look at my painting versus my picture and see where things need to get darker, be more dramatic. And then whatever color I happen to have in my brush, I'm going to try to move to put it where it needs to go and make it make sense. So, like I said, sometimes you're drawing the bricks, sometimes you're creating the mortar, and just pay attention to the direction of the lines and where the vanishing points are going. The vanishing points above your visual line will come down to your vanishing point. I think I said that backward. And below will be going up to the vanishing point. Here's the vanishing point. If you drew a line, it would create, land about here. So all of these, everything above angles down to that. Everything below angles up to that. Over here, the vanishing point is further back. So you just follow the line of this road. Here's about where the vanishing point. And so these lines are going to angle sharper. See how sharp that angle is? And angle down this way. So these are really old buildings, so it's not going to all be exactly accurate. Okay, so now that the shadows have dried a little bit, I can see my drawing is a little off on this road. This gray part should have been a lot closer. See how close it is? It should have been right here, but it's not worth redoing. And I'm not even staying in the same spots as my first drawing. It's okay. Oops, sorry. I hit it again. It's a little wobbly. a little wider as you get down here. Should be much wider. Those are a little wide down there. I'm kind of fighting it. Okay, in here, if you can see this really orangey tone in there where the light has come through. So I'm going to add just kind of a wash of an oranger tone. And this side of the building is a little oranger. It might be too much orange, but... And there's some of that orange reflecting down in here. Okay, I'm going to come back and fine-tune some of these rocks, stonework. The sides are definitely darker on this side. Then it gets out toward the light. And we have some color in this doorway, but it's actually lighter because it's facing more of the light coming from where I'm standing. So. It's a little dark here. Some of this could be, just... Wow, I mean, these buildings are so old. I want to add some texture in the ground, so just laying my brush sideways. Just adding a little bit of variation. I can turn my brush this way, and it's different blocks of color. I'm not going to worry about what color they are. It's not that important. The purple with the... Okay, let's squeeze some out, get a little puddle. Okay, I'm going to lay my brush down again and try to do some broader strokes. And then I'll come back in a little bit and add stonework to that just by jumping around. But I don't want to take a whole lot of time on this. I want to finish my journal. Okay, see how this has texture, that does not. I want to at least add some directional strokes. So just try to look and see which way they're going. The archway. Oh, I just noticed something. There was a more distinct arch around that doorway. Let me see if I can paint that in. I see my hair got caught. Shedding. Okay. I kind of softened it up enough. I wouldn't recommend painting like that, but when I'm in a journal and I see something I need to change, if I can do it fast enough, that works for me. Okay, so these are pretty much straight with my viewpoint because of the direction they are. And then when you go to the side street, you turn the corner, the edges of this right here are what's darker. That's why I almost missed it. And this has a variety of stonework. It's not, I mean, the stonework shifts from house to house. And there's actually a window right here that I missed. So we'll put that in. I missed some light up here. I'm not going to worry about that. Okay, so we're just going to come in with the window. It's an arched window. It's not dark enough, so pick up some more Payne's Gray. So the interior to the left side is going to be darker. And then as it comes toward the edge, it'll get lighter. So this is going to be darker at the top because it casts a shadow there. And I'm not sure what's in the corner here, but it looks like a little box or something. So we'll go around that. Gives the street some texture. And this place, it's full of texture, full of just so many things. Really, it was a neat experience. Maybe some lights or something down here. There were some windows in this archway. There's more of a shadow under that roof. It was more gray. There's another roof back behind it. This archway is much darker than what I have it. Started it that way, but I didn't finish it. It's coming. It's been a struggle to get back into the swing of things. I've just had a lot of wonderful family things going on, but they pull you away from your painting. I really appreciate those of you who miss me when I'm away. Even though I have quite a few subscribers, I fail to ask y'all questions and things to get you to comment and tell me, oh, I liked how you did that, or never thought about doing that before, or it's good to see you mess up, because then I know I'm in good company. I mean, whatever. But I know there's so many people having channels now that you have a lot of choice. So if you're watching me, I really do appreciate it. And I hope I can do things that will help your art journey. I'm going to be teaching again in Wildacres, in July. I'll be teaching how to journal a trip, how to document and capture memories. I taught that class last year, really enjoyed it, but experiencing what I taught by going to Italy and practicing what I preach, so to speak, that was wonderful. It was, this is what I'm finishing up. You will not finish everything you want to do while you're there. And I did not clean my brush very well. There was a lot of green in that. Should not have done that. So there's often things. Anyway, sorry, I say that a lot. I'm okay with that being kind of washed out and light. I'm just, okay, there's a plant here that kind of is similar to that. I think I'll go ahead and, since I've already kind of drawn it in, I'll go ahead and include that. You can't see much of the pot. So once you get the plant in, and I'll go get another brush before I paint my next painting. I'm going to let it be a little more. And I don't want it all the same green, so I'm going to pick up some of the dark. Get some of that. Make it more interesting. Okay, I don't know how long we've gone, but If you stayed with me so far, thank you. And then I'm going to go into creating the some of the over here. You can see more of the mortar, and I'm just trying to indicate that with just some light lines, just to add variety. Some kind of circle. What that? I don't know what that is. But circles from a side view or oval. I think I'll just put that in. And I'm going to indicate, whew, good night. All right, sorry about that. Some again of the stonework, not necessarily bricks in this at this stage. Excuse me. So shifting between showing the mortar and showing the stones. The shapes of the stones, I think, is just another way to add variety. And this is an open doorway. I'm looking, there is a ridge right here, or like a little ledge where you step into. It's darker along here. Well, a little darker here. Let's make that a little darker, just along the edge. What do you think? That turned out better not... Oops, sorry. Yeah, I just never know. And it's okay that I don't know how things are going to turn out, especially when I've been away from it for a while. I either had to paint or take a nap. I don't know if you've ever done that, so I either have to do something or go lay down. I hope you have a good holiday, if it's this time of year, depending on what time you're watching this. It is December here in Georgia, and we're going to have a very quiet Christmas because we just had one wedding in November, and my other daughter's getting married in January. So we're going to kind of lay low for the holidays and then get ready for those festivities. And then I have hip replacement surgery 4 days after that. So I'm not sure. The thing that concerns me the most is the restriction that they have on bending forward 90 degrees. And like right now, just to paint, I lean forward. So I'm hoping that I can get some of this done. Okay, backing up and looking at it, I don't like that line right there. It's a little harsh, so I'm just going to blur it a little bit and soften that. I had a little bit of blue on my brush. Dabbing, going, again, this is a look at linear perspective. When I look at these lines line up and aim approximately here. When I look at the bottom edge of the roads, where do they line up? And so find your eye level. Your eye level is where one side of the bricks line up with the other side. See, like that straight and that straight. So then below that, these will angle up, where these stay straight because they're on the other side of the, sorry, they're on a different plane. Like these are all on a plane right here that's facing me, and these are angling away. So I hope I didn't confuse you with that, but I think it's just very, very important to find your eye line level. And once you can find that, then it's going to really help you define what directions the lines go from there. And I'll put a few more in here. I don't need it very dark because it's in the sunlight. So I have just a little bit on my brush, and I'm just dabbing in some variation. Okay. I think I'm done with this one. Thanks for joining me. Let me know if you stayed to the end. Most people don't, but that's okay. I'm going to go check my brush instead of fighting with it and see if I can come up with a better one next time. Really do appreciate those of you who watch, and I'll catch up with you later.